Most people have no idea that pancreatic cancer is not only one of the most aggressive forms of cancer, but also one of the hardest to detect early. It quietly outranks both breast and prostate cancer in mortality rates across many countries, yet it rarely receives the same level of public attention. What's even more concerning is how easily its symptoms can be mistaken for common, everyday issues, allowing it to spread undetected until it's far more advanced. The numbers are rising, but awareness is not. Picture this. By recognizing just a few early signs, you could give yourself or someone you care about a real chance to catch this disease before it reaches a dangerous stage. Pancreatic cancer is often referred to as a silent illness for a reason. With a 5-year survival rate still hovering near 12%, it remains one of the most challenging cancers to treat. It claims over 65,000 lives every year in the United States alone. And what makes it even more alarming is that nearly 80% of people who are diagnosed had symptoms beforehand, but dismissed them as minor or unrelated. Here's what recent research reveals. Some of these early signs begin to appear as soon as 3 to 6 months before diagnosis. That means there's a small but critical window of opportunity for early detection. The pancreas may be a small organ, tucked deep inside your abdomen, but its role is massive. It helps manage blood sugar and creates enzymes your body relies on to digest food. Because of its hidden location, tumors can grow without obvious warning, making it essential to recognize the early signs before it's too late. In this video, we are going to explore 8 surprising symptoms that are often overlooked. Some are so common they're usually blamed on stress, age, or diet. But recognizing them in combination could be life-saving. According to recent studies, identifying just 3 of these symptoms together could increase the chances of early detection by nearly 70%. So why is something this serious still so overlooked? Why is it not part of routine health conversations? If you find this information helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss important updates on topics that can truly protect your health and well-being. Now let's begin with the first critical sign. Number 1. Digestive problems. Most people associate digestive discomfort with stress, certain foods, or simply getting older. But what if these subtle issues were actually your body's first alert that something important was changing inside? When the pancreas starts to lose its efficiency, your digestive system begins to struggle in ways that are often brushed off. This organ plays a vital role in producing enzymes that help your body digest fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. If those enzymes aren't being released properly, the food you eat doesn't break down the way it should. That can lead to uncomfortable symptoms like bloating, nausea, and a lingering heaviness in your stomach after eating. At first, it might feel like something you can shrug off or fix by skipping a meal. But over time, these episodes become more frequent. Meals that once made you feel nourished now leave you feeling sick or sluggish. Your appetite begins to fade, not because you're full, but because your body is silently rejecting the process of digestion itself. What happens next often shows up in the most overlooked place, your stool. When fat is not properly broken down, it doesn't disappear. It exits the body undigested, and that can create stool that is unusually light in color, greasy in texture, and carries a much stronger odor than normal. Most people don't connect this to a deeper health issue, but it's one of the earliest external signs that your digestive process is being interrupted at its core. Over time, the inability to absorb nutrients like protein and essential vitamins leads to other changes in the body. You may begin to lose weight without trying, feel weaker than usual, or notice dry skin and brittle nails, all of which trace back to the digestive system failing to pull what it needs from your meals. This isn't just about an upset stomach. It's about a breakdown in the very system that turns food into strength, energy, and vitality. And now that you've seen how this condition can quietly take hold through digestion, it's time to explore a warning sign that hides in plain sight and affects how you feel every moment of the day. Number 2. Fatigue. We all feel tired from time to time. Whether it's from a long day, poor sleep, or too many responsibilities, fatigue usually comes with an explanation. But there's a different kind of tiredness that doesn't respond to rest. It stays with you even after a full night's sleep, creeps into your mornings, and follows you throughout the day. This isn't ordinary tiredness. It's a deep physical exhaustion that seems to settle in your bones and won't let go. You might find yourself needing to sit down more often or feeling winded after simple tasks like walking across the room or climbing a short flight of stairs. Activities that once felt easy begin to feel overwhelming, and even your muscles may start to feel heavier than usual. This decline in stamina often comes without warning, and it builds slowly, which is exactly why people tend to overlook it. Over time, your ability to handle daily routines shrinks, and your body feels as though it's running on empty, no matter what you do to recharge. But the physical side is only part of the picture. When your body is under internal stress, especially from an illness you can't yet see or feel in obvious ways, it begins to affect your emotions and your mindset too. Many people who experience this kind of fatigue also report feeling unusually down or disconnected from their usual energy and motivation. It's not about sadness in the typical sense, but rather a feeling of being weighed down from the inside. Concentration may become harder, and the drive to stay active starts to fade. This physical and emotional drain creates a loop that's hard to break. Sleep becomes disturbed, your days begin to blur, and still, the exhaustion doesn't lift. That kind of relentless fatigue, especially when there is no clear cause, is a clue that your body may be using energy to battle something much deeper than daily stress. Now that we've uncovered this hidden sign that slowly steals your strength, let's look at a symptom that strikes more suddenly and unpredictably, often leaving people confused about what's happening inside their own bodies. Number 3. Fever. Not all fevers are created equal. The kind that should raise concern doesn't always arrive with a runny nose, sore throat, or the typical symptoms of a seasonal illness. Sometimes, it appears out of nowhere. One moment, you're feeling fine. The next, you're freezing, piling on blankets, or burning up with a sudden rise in body temperature. These unpredictable fevers may come and go without warning, and that inconsistency is exactly what makes them so deceptive. Unlike the steady temperature spikes you get with most common infections, this kind of fever behaves more like a wave. It appears briefly, vanishes without explanation, and then returns days later. It may be subtle at first, just a sense of unease or an unusual chill that makes you wonder if you're coming down with something. But the usual remedies don't help. And over time, these random temperature changes begin to feel less like a passing bug and more like something your body is struggling to manage behind the scenes. This pattern can point to internal inflammation, which is your body's natural response to stress or irregularities within an organ. When the pancreas becomes irritated or compressed, the immune system may begin to react in unusual ways, triggering temperature shifts as it tries to restore balance. Adding to the confusion, these fevers are often accompanied by night sweats or an underlying sense of discomfort that lingers even when the fever fades. People often write it off as stress, hormone changes, or poor sleep, but the reality is that your system could be sounding an alarm long before any clear diagnosis is made. Unlike pain or fatigue, which build gradually, temperature fluctuations have a way of grabbing your attention quickly, yet slipping through the cracks because they don't stick around for long. That inconsistency is dangerous, especially when it delays a proper evaluation. Now that you understand how your body can signal internal distress through temperature shifts, let's move to another warning sign that may begin quietly but carries serious risk if ignored. The unexpected appearance of swelling in the legs could be more than poor circulation. It could be a clue that something hidden is at play. Number 4. Leg swelling. When most people notice swelling in a leg, they often assume it's something harmless. Maybe they stood too long, twisted it slightly, or had poor circulation from sitting at a desk all day. But swelling in one leg that comes on suddenly and is paired with warmth, tenderness, or a change in color could be a sign of something more serious happening beneath the surface. In some cases, this type of swelling is a result of a blood clot forming in a deep vein, commonly referred to as deep vein thrombosis. The body may not give much warning when this happens, and the symptoms can be subtle at first, You might notice your sock leaving a deeper imprint than usual, or one leg feeling heavier than the other. Some people describe it as a dull pressure, while others feel mild pain or heat in the affected area. It's easy to overlook, especially if you have no history of circulatory issues. But the presence of a clot, even a small one, means the blood is not flowing properly, and that disruption can cause serious consequences if left unchecked. The connection between this type of clot and pancreatic function may not seem obvious at first. However, when the body is under stress from changes in the pancreas, it can enter a state where the blood becomes more likely to thicken or pool. This happens because certain internal signals that regulate how your blood clots may be thrown off balance. What's most alarming is that if a portion of that clot breaks off and travels through the bloodstream, it can reach the lungs and block oxygen flow. That sudden blockage, known medically as a pulmonary issue, becomes a true emergency and often arrives without enough time to react. This is why swelling in the leg should never be taken lightly, especially when accompanied by discomfort or visible changes in color or texture. What looks like a minor inconvenience may actually be your body trying to protect you from a larger risk. Now that you know how physical symptoms in the lower body can offer urgent clues, let's explore how a quiet disruption in nearby organs like the gallbladder and liver can further reveal what's happening inside. Number 5. Liver or gallbladder swelling. Most people don't give much thought to their gallbladder or liver unless they're already dealing with digestion issues, but these two organs are more involved in your health than they may seem. Tucked just beneath the ribs on your right side, they sit close to the pancreas, and when something begins to affect one of them, it can create a chain reaction through the others. The gallbladder acts like a storage container for bile, a fluid that helps digest fats. This bile flows through a narrow passage known as the bile duct. When pressure begins to build inside that duct, either from narrowing or blockage, bile stops flowing the way it should. The result is a silent backup that causes the gallbladder to enlarge. In many cases, there is no sharp pain, no dramatic symptom, just a quiet fullness in your right side that becomes harder to ignore over time. If a doctor performs a physical exam, they may detect a firm bulge beneath the ribs or recommend imaging to investigate further. What was once a background organ suddenly becomes the source of important signals that your body is trying to send. The liver is often affected at the same time because it produces the bile that is now getting trapped. As bile accumulates in the liver, pressure builds there too, and the organ may begin to swell. This swelling is not always obvious at first, but some people begin to notice tightness near the upper right part of the abdomen, especially when lying flat or breathing deeply. Unlike pain that comes and goes, this sensation tends to linger and worsen gradually. What's important to understand is that this isn't just a digestive issue. It is a sign that bile flow has been disrupted at its source, which often means that something nearby is causing obstruction. These physical changes may not be painful early on, but they are powerful indicators when viewed in context. The body is incredibly adaptive, but when organs begin to swell, it is often because they are compensating for something they can no longer do properly. Recognizing that early pressure or fullness near the ribs could be a meaningful signal is key to spotting larger issues before they escalate. Now that we've explored the hidden effects on these internal organs, let's turn to a symptom that many people experience but few interpret correctly, especially when it keeps coming back for no clear reason. Number 6. Gas or bloating. There's a specific kind of bloating that doesn't feel like the result of overeating or a heavy meal. Instead, it creeps in quietly, often after just a few bites of food, and leaves you feeling like your stomach is full, stretched, or even slightly uncomfortable. This sensation is known as early satiety, and it can be one of the first signs that something is physically interfering with your digestive system. When the pancreas begins to change or swell due to internal pressure, nearby organs such as the stomach and small intestine may also feel the effects. These structures are located very close together, and when space becomes limited inside the abdominal cavity, digestion slows down in subtle but noticeable ways. As a result, meals that were once easy to digest can start to feel like a burden. Even drinking a glass of water may lead to unexpected bloating or a sense of tightness that doesn't match what you've actually eaten. This early fullness may not be painful, but it changes how you approach eating, and over time, it may cause you to eat less without realizing that it's tied to something deeper than simple appetite. Unlike common bloating from gas or food sensitivities, this type of discomfort often lingers and resists typical solutions. Adjusting your diet, taking antacids, or eating more slowly may have little to no effect. That's because the issue isn't related to what's in your food, but to how your organs are functioning beneath the surface. The bloated feeling can extend throughout the day, growing more noticeable after each small meal. Some individuals report a sense of pressure just beneath the ribs or a gentle pushing outward from the stomach region. While these symptoms might not sound severe at first, they become harder to ignore as they interfere with everyday routines. Eating becomes a cautious process, and eventually, weight changes, reduced nutrition, or discomfort may follow. It's important to recognize that persistent bloating, especially when combined with early fullness, could be a structural issue involving your digestive organs, not just a passing stomach upset. Now that we've seen how pressure and fullness in the abdomen can reveal hidden changes, let's move on to a symptom that can be mistaken for something far more common, but may actually tell a much more urgent story. The presence of pain in your upper belly or back that refuses to go away may not be what it seems. Number 7. Back pain. Back pain is one of the most common complaints in adults, especially as people age or spend long hours sitting or standing. But the type of discomfort linked to deeper internal changes does not behave like a typical muscle strain or tension from posture. When the pain begins in the upper abdomen and slowly spreads toward the back, especially in a way that forms a horizontal band across the midsection, it may indicate something far more complex than sore muscles. This specific pattern of discomfort often appears when changes begin to occur in the body or tail of the pancreas, which are located near sensitive nerves and other organs. As pressure builds in these areas, it can radiate backward, creating a dull ache that feels like it's coming from deep within. The sensation may be persistent or come and go at first, often intensifying after meals or while lying down. This kind of pain can become part of daily life before most people even recognize it as something unusual. It does not respond easily to stretching, movement, or rest, and over time, it starts to feel less like a muscle issue and more like something is off inside. What makes this symptom difficult to identify is how easy it is to blame it on common causes. People often assume it's their mattress, their desk chair, or even stress. But this kind of pain does not behave like typical back discomfort. It tends to remain in the same area, and instead of being sharp or stabbing, it creates a steady pressure that builds gradually. Some people compare it to a pulling or gnawing sensation that becomes more noticeable in the late afternoon or evening. Others report that lying flat only makes it worse. Because the pancreas sits behind the stomach and in front of the spine, any changes in its shape or structure can directly affect the nerves and tissues that transmit pain to the back. Over time, the persistence of this discomfort, especially when paired with any of the other signs we've covered, may become a key signal that something is wrong on a deeper level. Now that we've explored how discomfort in your back or abdomen could be pointing to a silent internal shift, let's take a closer look at one of the simplest but most surprising indicators of hidden issues. The color of your urine may be telling a story your body needs you to hear. Number 8. Urine. It might seem like one of the most minor changes your body can show, but the color of your urine can offer powerful clues about what's happening beneath the surface. When the shade shifts from pale yellow to something much darker, like the color of cola or strong tea, most people assume they're simply dehydrated. That may be true in some cases, especially after exercise or not drinking enough fluids. But when the change in color continues even with proper hydration, it becomes more than just a passing issue. In many cases, this darkening of the urine is linked to a buildup of bilirubin, a yellow pigment that normally moves out of your body through the liver and intestines. When something blocks that process, such as pressure in the bile ducts near the pancreas, bilirubin can begin to spill into the bloodstream and find other ways to exit the body. One of those ways is through the kidneys. This results in darker urine, sometimes days or even weeks before more visible signs appear elsewhere in the body. The key to understanding this symptom is recognizing how early it often shows up. Unlike changes in stool or skin tone, urine color is something you see almost every day, and that makes it one of the easiest signs to monitor if you know what to look for. This change might appear gradually, or it may happen overnight. It can be one of the first indicators that bile is not flowing correctly and that your liver or pancreas may be under stress. In some cases, this shift is accompanied by other subtle symptoms, such as fatigue, discomfort in the upper abdomen, or a change in how your body handles digestion. But even when it appears on its own, dark urine that lingers for several days without an obvious reason should not be ignored. It can serve as an early signal before any discomfort or pain begins, giving you an opportunity to catch potential issues before they become more serious. Now that we've uncovered 8 of the most commonly overlooked signs, it's time to bring everything together and understand why even the smallest clue can hold life-changing importance when it comes to your long-term health. Conclusion. When people think of serious illness, they often imagine sudden and dramatic symptoms that demand immediate attention. But the truth is that some of the most dangerous conditions develop in silence. They do not arrive with alarms or dramatic episodes. Instead, they appear quietly through subtle signs like lingering fatigue, meals that no longer sit well, unexplained fevers, or a growing sense of discomfort you cannot explain. The early symptoms we have explored often fade into the background because they seem ordinary at first glance. A little bloating, a small shift in appetite, or mild back pain might not sound like much. But when you begin connecting these signals, a clearer picture starts to take shape. These clues are not isolated events. They are part of a message your body is trying to deliver. And when you pay attention early, that message can become the key to prevention, early action, and better outcomes. This kind of awareness can make the difference not only in your own life, but in the life of someone close to you. You do not need a medical degree to recognize when something feels different. What you need is awareness, curiosity, and the willingness to take subtle changes seriously. Catching patterns early gives you the chance to ask the right questions and get help before things become urgent. Knowing 2 or 3 of these warning signs might be all it takes to start that conversation. That is why sharing this knowledge matters. If something in this video made you pause or reminded you of a situation you have seen in yourself or someone else, do not brush it aside. Listen to that instinct, speak to a healthcare provider, and take the next step. And if this video helped you understand what the body may be trying to say, consider sharing it. Someone in your circle could be experiencing these same symptoms right now without realizing their importance. Your decision to stay informed today could make a life-changing difference for someone tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.